Hello and welcome to the San Diego Unified Office Skills Training video series, Tips and Tricks. In today's video, we're going to be learning how to use the watch window in Microsoft Excel. So to do that, we're going to open up our pretend school that we have here and our workbook showing a number of different students in our pretend school. And so the whole point of a watch window is when you have a large workbook like we have this sample here, you can have all kinds of different tabs down at the bottom, and you might be working in one tab or another, but you need to keep your eyes on some information from one particular tab, and you want to be able to see that information no matter what tab you're on. And so we're actually going to go to the total enrolled students tab right here in our pretend school. And we've got a number that's right here. This happens to be in L6, and it says total number of students at this pretend school is 472. And so if we take a look up here at the formula bar, we see that we have a formula that's set up that's basically counting the range A2 all the way down to 700. Basically all of the students that have a student ID number, that represents the number of students in this particular box here. So we're going to pretend, for the sake of our training today for watch window, that your job at your particular site is to do something whenever there's a new student that's enrolled. Maybe you have to send out a packet to the family or send out an email, something along those lines. And so you just want to keep tabs on that number and know when it changes. And so we have this number 472 here. And if you're working on different worksheets, and you'd have to keep coming back to this particular one where you had this information available to you to find out when something has changed. Well, we can actually go to the Formulas tab ribbon, and we skip past the functions library and define names, and right here in the formula auditing group, we find this feature called Watch Window. And it says we can basically keep an eye on some different cells and their values no matter which worksheet we're working on. And so the one that we want to do it is for L6, and I've already selected it there. That's why it's got the green box around it. And there's 472 students. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Watch Window. And then we get the Watch Window dialog box that opens. And as you can see, I can move this thing around and put it just wherever it's most comfortable. And so we're going to add a watch. And since I've already selected L6, it's going to pick up on that right away. So we get the Add Watch dialog box that shows up. And then we see some information that's here. And I'm just going to click on it to make it a little bit brighter, a little bit easier to see. I apologize, it's so small. But basically, it says that we are in the total enrolled students worksheet. That's what this one is right down here, this yellow one that we're on. And you have to look past the little dollar signs, but it's basically we're in L6, which is exactly what we want right here. That is the watch that we're interested in. So I'm just going to go ahead and say add at this point. And now we have that information in here. So this watch window, in addition to being able to move it around, you could also control the size, to some degree, and expand it, collapse it, or whatever. And I'll just make it this big for a moment. And because this is set up with different fields, you can actually adjust the size of all of these. So here's the formula field. And if I'm not interested in that, I can move that over. Here's the value that we are actually interested in. Here's the name of the cell. And here's the worksheet that we're on. And here's the workbook, Mr. J's Advanced Excel Exercises. So if I open up this area here, then I could see the entire name up here, but I'm not interested in that. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse that. I want to collapse the next one too, because all I'm really interested in is this value L6. So you can't collapse it too much. All right, so we can make some adjustments here as to what is being displayed here. And then we can also come down here and we can left click and drag and make this as small as we want. We'll leave it this big just so it says watch window, since that's what we're talking about. We don't really care that the formula's in view right now. If I wanted to, I could expand that and kind of make that disappear. All right, so there is the value that I'm interested in. If I wanted, I could not only move this all around, I could actually stick it to the top of my worksheet by just simply dragging it up there, and at some point I let it go, And there it is. There's our information. That's taking up a lot of room, so I'm not sure I want that. So I can go up here to the header of that where it says watch window, pull it down, and then I could then drag it over here to the left side, and I could leave it on that side if I want. And if I want to, I could shrink and open this and then adjust some things in there if I want to. Or I could grab this and drag it, and I could put it down here at the bottom and do the same thing, move it over there. And I can also put it over there on the right if I want to. But for our purposes, we're going to leave it right there. I'm going to adjust this one more time. All right. And so there's our watch window. So this is how it works. So now when I go to a different worksheet, I'm going to click on VLOOKUP right here. The watch window is still there. Wherever I leave the watch window, it doesn't matter on which worksheet I am, it's still plainly visible. And so the idea is, as I'm working in this workbook and I'm going to all these different worksheets, wherever I have my watch window, I still have that number there. And let's see, I've lost my data that I was interested in. Yeah, we want the value. How about that? All right, so there's the value of 472. And with that, we can move this watch window to wherever we want. We could put up here at the top, and there it is. We've got the value. We could pull it down from there, and we could move it over to the left if we want. Or we could drag it on back over here, and we could put it at the bottom. Or we could drag it again back up and then drag it all the way over to the right hand side. Whichever one we're at, is as long as we're whenever we're switching from different worksheets, it's going to stay in the same spot. For our purposes, we'll just keep it out here, and we'll make sure that that value is what's visible there. And so that's the whole purpose of the watch window, is that wherever you're working, that watch window is always available. And in this case, our example is that we want to know when this number of students changes, that it's going to remind us that we have to send out a packet or something like that for a brand new student that's come in, or a number of students if it's more than one. So that's the whole purpose of the watch window, to keep an eye on some data or a group of cells or something like that that you may need to keep an eye on no matter which worksheet you're on. So thank you for coming to learn with us today on our Office Skills Training video series, Tips and Tricks. Don't forget to share this information with your coworkers. Let them know about our trainings that we have. And you can always go to the IT department and go to the IT training calendar, and there you can find classes in PeopleSoft, PowerSchool, and also the office skills training that I do in Microsoft Office apps such as Excel and Word, as well as the Google Office apps like Sheets, Slides, Docs, Forms, and also Google Drive. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day.